The human mind can't fully comprehend what lies in between the world of the living and the land of the dead. When you're in between, there's no such thing as space or dimensions. There is no up or down, width, length, and height. They're mostly a suggestion, never a rule. Likewise, time has no meaning at all. There's only now, and after that, a different now. You can also be in the now that just happened, a now sometime in the future, and a now from the very different past. For those of us who normally exist in a linear timeline, it's nothing short of a nightmare. There's no place for the living or the dead. It's the realm of the immortals. We call them demons, demigods. The immortals can enter our reality at will, at any point in time or space. The only mortal beings who can replicate this feat are the sprites. They hear the great song of the universe, and they understand the meaning of its intricate melody. The great song is generated by the vibration of the thread. According to the succubus, the thread was plucked by the finger of the creator at the exact moment it came into being. First came the thread and the song, and then the sprites, who were created the very next instant. All other events in our timeline began after the sprites became aware. Their collective consciousness will be the last thing to disappear at the end. The sprites are the official rulers of all the Fey folk, and Mercus is their king. The sprites have the ability to manipulate the thread of existence. They can alter the timeline by interfering with an event, or they can create a new reality by introducing an event that otherwise would have never occurred. They may not be gods, or even demigods, for that matter, but they wield enormous power. However, for all their incredible might, the sprites are still mortal. They'll exist until the end of days, but when the last gasp of energy flickers out in the void, they'll be gone. The place in between is the realm of entities that were never alive, and therefore can never die. These creatures are familiar with mundane concepts such as time, space, mortality, and income taxes, but none of it affects them. The immortals either regard us as cattle to feed their various desires, or they don't regard us at all. Long story short, we don't have many friends over there. In conclusion, it's all way beyond the understanding of our primitive little brains. Nonetheless, if you can achieve a higher state of perception, perhaps with the help of a skinwalker and his potent psychedelic tea, it may be possible to break through and enter the realm of demons. Well, you won't like it, but you can go there. I wouldn't recommend this experience, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Of course, I already traveled through the space in between, while shutting back and forth from the spirit world. But this time was different. I wasn't just passing through, I was officially a visitor in the kingdom of the immortals. The first thing I noticed was a brilliant, shimmering streak of light. The thread is the only visible object in every direction, and it stretches from the beginning to the very end. Every event in our timeline at every location. I was looking at home from a vantage point that was never meant to be experienced by a human being. It made me feel very alone and very, very small. I was in between, the place of demons and demigods, and I did not belong there. Some of these beings harbor a deep hatred for the living, and others are completely indifferent. A few of them desire our worship, and a handful of them would rather skip all that nonsense and just eat us alive. All in all, not a very safe neighborhood for a guy like me, and that is an understatement. Speaking of which, the next thing I saw was a horrific monstrosity beyond my wildest imaginations. It materialized from the void out of nowhere, filling my entire field of vision with its terrible form. Imagine an object the size of a planet hovering in a fathomless void and staring you down with 100 billion eyes. It was so big I couldn't even understand what I was looking at. It was just a gigantuan blob of darkness and evil. I started to scream, and the cosmic gorgon was abruptly replaced by a gorgeous woman in a red dress. It was the actress Kelly LeBrock, looking exactly as she had appeared in the mid-'80s rom-com movie The Woman in Red. I had a quick flashback of peeping around the corner at my parents watching their grown-up movie on the VCR. The woman in the red dress made guest appearances in my dreams for months. She was eventually replaced by Samantha Fox after I saw one of her music videos on TV. Apparently the woman in the red dress was still lurking around in my subconscious because there she was, in the flesh. I blubbered. You ordered the succubus, right? I mean, the one from the zoo? She giggled. There are many demons, but there's only one succubus. I'm sorry I gave you a fright, but as I already told you, my true form is, it's a bit overwhelming. Do you like this better? You used to dream about marrying the woman in red. Do you remember that? And then Samantha Fox came and stole your heart away. Do you remember how you would kiss your pillow and pretend it was her? It made my face flush red with embarrassment. I mumbled some half-assed denial, and she purred. You can't lie to me, dear. I already know the truth. Anyway, you really shouldn't be here, silly Billy. Talk about a fish out of water. I grumbled. Well, this is a last-ditch effort to save the day. Give me a break. I rubbed my temples and let out a soft groan. I was in a place that couldn't even be defined by the laws of the physical world, but I was still battling a headache. I explained to her that if I couldn't pin the Bookman with his true identity, 3 things would happen. 1, he would never face any kind of justice for his crimes. 2, poor little Catherine would remain trapped in the world of the living, doomed to suffer her agony forever. And 3, he'd probably kill me. The Bookman wasn't an ordinary spirit. He served an entity he referred to as a Dark Lord, and he had the ability to transcend the bounds of reality. The succubus listened with a sympathetic expression. She patted me on the chest and said, Well, it sounds like you're about to get murdered. I think you should just give up and let me eat you. I mean, you're going to die anyway, right? One last romp in the hay, and then you're gone. What do you say, my love? I gently pushed her hand away and sighed. No thanks. If the Bookman kills me, at least I can live on in the spirit world. If you kill me, I'm just gone. She exclaimed, Oh, come on! You can't be serious. Do you not understand just how long you'll exist in the spirit world? It's a virtual eternity of being a dumb, boring little ghost. Just another sad, lonely spirit lost in a sea of the dead. That's no way to spend the countless millennia, is it? Come to Kelly. I'll make it all go away. I slapped her groping hands and yelled, Nope, stop it, friggin' no! For crying out loud, no! I'm already a boring person in life. So what does it matter if I still suck after death? Look, either you're trying to help me or you won't. I'm willing to negotiate, but eating my body and soul is completely off the table. I like existing, even if it blows most of the time. The succubus smirked at me and toyed with my hair. She purred. Oh, you precious little chicken wing. Your blood is a tad sour and your sexual performance was ultimately forgettable. But that soul of yours, fresh and spicy, I can smell it. Okay, I'll help you. Again, and you'll owe me deeply for this help. Again. I'm a demon, Billy, not a charity. I gave her a stressed-out grin, and I clasped my hands together in a tight, trembling knot. I squeaked, Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss... What should I call you, anyway? I mean, just referring to you as the succubus, it seems kind of informal after, the sex and the blood drinking. The demon gave me a withered look. She sneered, Oh, please. That meant nothing. I was just having a sandwich, that's all. A bland, boring little sandwich. But it still hit the spot, of course, because I was hungry. Don't concern yourself with my true name. Long story short, it will far exceed your limited comprehension. You're adorable, but you're just a little guy, Billy. You have adorable little arms and adorable little legs, and you have a stupid little brain. Just don't worry about it. I felt my face get hot from embarrassment. I muttered, I think that was maybe a little harsh, but okay, gotcha. So, I know you can't tell me the Bookman's real name, but I might know a way around that stupid-ass rule. The Dark Lord or whatever the fuck, I think he might be a demon. Does that name ring a bell? The succubus rolled her eyes. I think so, yes. There's one demon in particular who comes to mind. He loves to be worshipped. He influences weak or unstable people to commit murder, maybe start a cult, all that sort of thing. If you ask me, it's much easier to just pluck an erotic image from their minds and use it against them. That worship stuff is really time-consuming and just, I don't know. I suppose it all seems rather inefficient. I muttered, yeah, efficiency is everything. Do you think you can help me find this guy? He probably knows the Bookman's real identity, right? I mean, maybe he can give me a hint or something. I'm kind of desperate over here. She arched a well-manicured eyebrow and snorted. I'm not sure what good it would do, but yeah, I could. Demons can see it all, hear it all. We know it all. However, we can't share that information with the mortals. I don't know what would happen, but most of us would rather play it safe. I've heard the Creator has something of a temper. I dropped to one knee in front of her and begged, please just give me the chance to talk to him. I mean, what's going to happen? You guys are immortal. Like you're going to be sentenced to the electric chair. There are things far worse than death, she answered in a somber tone. That's not a very strong argument. I stamped my foot and groaned. Please, look, if you help me find this dude, I'll agree to let you do your thing again. Bang me stupid and drink my blood. I'll let you have, an entire pint this time. No, 2 pints. How much blood do I need to be alive anyway? Fuck it. Two pints if you want. Just, please. A succubus brushed her lips against my ear as she breathed. Your blood isn't good enough. I want something better this time. Something more substantial. I want your ear. I want to tear it off with my teeth. She giggled as I jerked away from her hot, panting breath. I clapped my hands over my ear and gasped, oh, hell no, are you crazy? The succubus crossed her arms and sniffed. Are you sure? I will remind you there's another variable in this equation that you seem to have forgotten. Very shortly, you'll be face to face with Victor Bonicelli, and he is furious. He's driving to the zoo right now, and he's still wearing his pajamas. He didn't even get dressed before he left. You are in a lot of trouble. I felt my heart drop. In all the general weirdness that was happening, I forgot about Victor. I had broken all kinds of rules that night, and the boss was a stickler for the rules. He was also dangerously volatile. My throat suddenly felt tight and constricted, as if Vic had already strangled me with his phantom hands. I croaked, Can you stop him? The succubus rolled her eyes and groaned, Nope. I'm afraid not. Victor has a part of me contained in the physical world, so he's protected from my charms. I wish I could tear him apart like a rotisserie chicken, but still, no such luck. Len's voice popped up in the back of my head. It said, Good going, Dumbo. You take an easy night shift, and you turn it into your own murder. I groaned. Yeah, this figures. Oh, fuck it, let's do it. Okay, I got nothing to lose at this point. Your ear, sweetheart? The demon corrected me, and she gave me that predatory smile. Remember, you're going to lose your ear. I blinked back a sudden film of wetness in my eyes. I quavered. Is it gonna hurt? A lot? The succubus grabbed me by the shoulder and gave me a brisk shake. She exclaimed, Oh, you poor stupid little chickadee. What kind of question is that? Of course it will hurt, silly. Ears are very sensitive, but it'll be over quickly. And I promise to heal up the wound right after I'm done. You'll be all better. The demon released her iron grip on my shoulders, and she sternly planted her hands on her hips. She demanded, "So what is it? What do you want to do here, Billy? Make up your mind. Either you can be a big, brave boy for Auntie Succubus, or you can be decapitated by the ghost of a serial killer. Make your choice." The look in her eyes scared the hell out of me. You'd expect a lion to stare at you like that, but when it's an actress from the 80s, it hits a lot differently. It was unnerving. That's a big understatement. I closed my eyes and said, "Do it." In a flash, I was naked and lying on my back. She pinned my arms down and panted, "Don't you dare finish too early this time. Think about baseball or something." And when it was over, she collapsed on top of me. It was like being smothered by a lead blanket. Couldn't even draw enough breath to scream. Her pupils started to rotate like a time-lapse of distant galaxies against sparks of starlight. A part of me wanted to get lost in that gaze, but I fought against it with all of my will. She crooned, "Piece by piece, I will slowly consume you. Mind, body, and soul. It'll be like nibbling my way to the center of a Tootsie Pop." I managed to wheeze. "Nope, won't eat me." She snickered. "Is that so? You should ask that little puddle fairy about the fate of her first true love. He thought he would resist me, but he was wrong. Dead wrong." I can't believe she's still mad about that. Almost 3,000 years later. I swear the Fae can really hold a grudge. I gurgled. "No chance. Done. Never again." She gave me a knowing look. "Is that so? We'll see, won't we? There's no judgment here, Mr. Whitebread. Desire is everything." The demon lowered her voice to a breathy whisper. "I can become anyone. I'll let you do anything you've ever desired. I can even become that slutty cartoon girl from the movie about the rabbit. I know how she made you feel. Don't lie. I can see your most secret fantasies. I can see..." I gasped. "Okay, stop, too far." The succubus patted my cheek. She purred. "Oh, I'm just teasing. It's so easy to get you all riled up. I just can't resist. Anyway, let's have that ear, shall we?" She pushed my head to the side, and teeth like razors sank into my flesh. I couldn't draw enough breath to let out a scream of agony. It came out as a faint whistle instead. I was then treated to the horrifying image of a naked Kelly LeBrock chewing on my ear, her lips and chin smeared with blood. I felt my heart seize up in my chest, and I promptly passed out from shock. The darkness was good. It was welcome. My last thought was, I'm gonna wake up dead. And then I was gone for a while. When the darkness departed from my mind, I found myself lying at the feet of a giant. He looked like a member of a gothic rock band, but like really fucking tall. This dude was at least 15 feet from head to toe. His hair was jet black, his skin deadly pale. The giant was wearing a pair of black vinyl pants, matching vest, and a bullet belt. His feet were clad in leather boots that laced up to his knees. He was shirtless beneath the vest, revealing a muscular build and a bunch of tattoos. A human skull hung from his neck by a length of rusty chain. Much to my embarrassment, I was still naked. My clothes were lying in a messy pile nearby. I hurried to get dressed, the giant looking on with an expression of scornful amusement. He crossed his arms and spoke to me in a low, rumbling voice. I am known to you as the Dark Lord, but I have many other names. I am the Thief of Innocence, the Bishop of Madness, and the Stabber of Hope. I have 1 billion names, yet they all fall short of describing the true depths of my evil. Fear me, you pathetic little bug. Fall to your knees and cry for your mother. I gave him a dazed look and sputtered, Okay, give me a second, okay? I just woke up naked, my ear's gone. Just chill out, man. He gave me a grumpy look and waited as I wriggled into my Kevlar suit. When I was done, I looked him up and down and said, okay, so can I ask you a question? Like, why do you look like that? Like what? He demanded. What are you trying to say? I shook my shoulders and waved a hand at his outfit. I mean, you look like, I don't know, Trent Reznor on steroids. It's kind of like, you know, it's weird. The Dark Lord gave me a sullen look. He snorted. Yeah? So? I don't look like this for you. I look like this for me, because this is who I am. Is that okay with you, Dad? Am I grounded or something? Eat a dick, buddy. I held up my hand and stammered. Whoa, okay, simmer down. I'm saying, I opened my eyes, there you were, like, I don't know, all gothed out and shit. I wasn't expecting to see, you know, that. The Dark Lord pointed a finger at me and snapped. Well, I don't need to measure up to your expectations, do I? Anyway, you're hardly one to talk. Grunge rock guy. You're all like, wow, look at me, my hair is hanging in my face because I'm such an introvert. So lame. I gaped up at him with my mouth hanging open. He glared back at me and then pretended to answer a ringing phone. Hello? Oh, yeah, sure, I'll tell him right now. He cupped his hand over the pretend receiver and yelled, Hey, dickhead, 2 years ago called. They want their goofy hairdo back. I threw up my hands and yelled, oh, okay. I'm sorry, jeez, okay, I just want to be over this. Give me the bookman's real name and I'm gone. The demon gave me a cold stare. He sneered. I wouldn't usually sacrifice a loyal servant, but the succubus is persuasive. Politics, you know. She can be a powerful ally someday. Just my opinion here, but she's wasting her potential by being obsessed with matters of the flesh. I'd much prefer corruption over consumption, if you get what I mean. Killing is so messy and undignified. I'd rather deceive the mortals into causing each other harm instead of going in there and doing it myself. I like keeping my own hands clean. He gave me a smug grin, and I answered it with a look of distaste. I said, I don't know, man. I feel like that's actually like a lot worse, to be honest. I mean, this book guy, right? He fucking sucks. You might think the shit he's done is pretty awesome or whatever, but you're wrong. Like, okay, just give me his name. I'll be gone. The demon gave me a sad look and replied, What's the hurry, grunge boy? I don't get a chance to step out of character very often. I'm always playing a role. I have to pretend to be a monster from a horror movie, or an avenging angel, or a malevolent space alien, all kinds of weird shit. He grinned and added, That's a popular one, by the way, the space alien. I've always been a talking dog, a telepathic cloud, just, you know, all kinds of weird shit. But I never get to be myself, just like hang out, have a conversation with someone. It never happens. It's a shame, because I'm a really interesting demon. Do you think— I wrung my hands together and pleaded, Come on, man, just let's get real here, okay? I don't want to hang out with you. Not ever. You're evil. I mean, can you give me his name, please? Seriously, I gotta go. He crossed his arms and growled. It's like that, is it? Okay, sure. That's fine by me because you're a little dork and I'm really fucking cool. But I can't just directly tell you his name. It's against the rules and I don't want to piss off the creator. I've heard he has a really bad temper. But I suppose I can give you a hint. His last name rhymes with... It rhymes with Bra. That's all I can say. I rubbed my temples again, desperately trying to massage my aching brain. Okay, slowly I murmured. Bra, Draw, Crenshaw! Is that it? It's Crenshaw, right? Isn't it? The demon dropped an exaggerated wink. and then held up his hand and said, "Oh, I can't confirm or deny it. Seems likely, though. He's a truly evil man with a nasty little black heart, rotten to the core, just like I like him. You know, it's funny. For some reason, he thinks of me as a dog skull with a body of a serpent. I also have chunks of quartz in my eye sockets. Always something really freaking weird like that, you know. It gets so tedious sometimes." The demon's voice was fading away. I was already melting back into a land of reality. The bookman's name was burning on my lips. I heard the Dark Lord call after me. "Fine, get lost. I wasn't going to tell him about this, but now I changed my mind. Brace yourself, because he's coming for your head." I re-entered the land of the living just in time to see the door fly open with a tremendous bang. It was Vic, surrounded by a small mob of his henchmen. The succubus wasn't kidding. Vic had left the house in his pajamas. He threw on a bathrobe against the slight chill of the night air, and then he rushed out the door. Vic's hair was sticking up in random clumps, and his bare feet were slammed into a pair of fuzzy slippers. It would have almost been comical, except his eyes were burning with rage. His face was red as a brick. Keep in mind, I was still high as a kite in this reality. Falling Sky's tea was doing its thing, and I was completely blasted. To my perspective, my boss was yet another demon from the nowhere zone. He was the Lord of Silk Pajamas, surrounded by his cult of heavily armored fanatics. It was screamingly absurd and completely horrifying at the same time. I thought my head was going to explode. Vic pulled a pistol from a pocket in his bathrobe and bellowed, "Drop the rifle, you Russian piece of shit! Put it on the fucking floor!" Kaz silently laid the rifle down, and he slid it across the floor to Vic with a nudge from the toe of his boot. Vic snatched it up and ejected the magazine. He shook it in the air and yelled, "So, this is what happens when I'm not around. This is what happens when my back is turned." Vic hurled the rifle across the room. It whirled through the air end over end, and it bounced off the wall. He aimed the pistol at Kaz and snarled, "Don't get no funny ideas over there, Stalin. Have a seat on the edge of the pool." He glared over at Miss Dahlia, who was kneeling on the floor beside Falling Sky. Vic motioned at them with his free hand and sneered, "Oh, looky here. It's Lady and the Tramp. Why aren't you cooling your heels back in your own habitat, Chief? What, you got nothing to say? Come on, witch doctor, why aren't you watching TV and smoking your peace pipe?" Falling Sky looked startled when Vic mentioned his illicit television, but he remained silent. Vic glanced back at his guards and sputtered, "He won't talk, so I guess I'll have to say it instead. It's because they weren't minding their own friggin' business. See what happens? Snowballs, doesn't it? Then get out of hand. A lie becomes 2 lies, and 4 lies is snowballs. Before you know it, Vic's standing here in his fucking pajamas, and he's pissed." Vic pointed at the water nymph and boomed, "Speaking of lying pieces of shit, you ain't been exactly truthful lately, have you? You've been deleting all the security footage. I fucking knew it. Now don't play dumb with me. I know it's you. And who else could it be, huh? Most of those critters out there, they don't know jack shit about video cameras, let alone how to erase a recording. And you did it again tonight, didn't you? Audio, video, all gone. I already checked. And then we got this fucking guy over here, this ungrateful little prick that can't keep himself out of trouble." Vic pinned me with his glare, and my legs started to tremble. He pointed the gun at me and demanded, "What in the almighty fuck did you think you're doing, kid? You trying to release my poltergeist in the spirit world? My friggin' poltergeist? Mine?" Vic took a deep breath and he slowly exhaled. In a softer voice of his, he said, "Let me ask you something, goofball. Do you have any idea how much money she brings in? Huh? Do you?" Vic lumbered closer, his upper lip wrinkling back in a snarl. He prodded me with the barrel of the gun. "Ghosts are friggin' rare, you little douchebag. You know stories of hauntings people talk about, the ones you see, the National Enquirer, and Unsolved Mysteries. They're all complete bullshit. This is a scam for the rubes. Real ghosts? Freaking hell, that's a 1 in a million, you hear me? 1 in a million. And not only do I have a ghost on display, I have an honest-to-God poltergeist. The rarest of the rare. People will offer me thousands of dollars on top of their admission fee just so they can stay and watch it for a little longer. Right there, on the spot, in cash. Talk about thousands here, Billy. Tens of thousands. She bags me an extra 70 grand Just last week. Tax-free cheddar, boom, in my fucking pocket. Vic leaned even closer. He murmured, "So, I'll ask you again, Billy. What the fuck do you think you're doing?" I tried my best to meet his ferocious gaze, but that was impossible. His crimson demon face made me want to start hyperventilating. I stammered, I'm sorry, Vic. It's just, Catherine said she's in pain. I mean, all the time, day and night, for over a century. It never stops. Vic snorted. And? So what? She's a friggin' psycho! Are you for real? You seriously feel bad for this thing? She'll beat your head in with a hairbrush. Am I losing my mind over here? Who the hell cares if she's in pain? I hesitated in the face of Vic's bewildered wrath. But in my heart, I knew it had to be said. I quickly blurted out, "You should release her. I mean, yeah, she's dangerous, but she's just a little girl, you know? She didn't deserve a fate like that. We can make it right. Just let her go." My words dried up beneath the red-hot fury that blazed in Vic's eyes. He screamed into my face, "For the last time, that ain't no little girl, it's a ghost. It's not alive, jackass! What the hell are you talking about?" I attempted to speak, but Vic shushed me with the barrel of his pistol. He rasped, "Listen to me, kid. Here's where I'm coming from, okay? 1, she's freaking dead. Deceased. Not living. Gone. That thing ain't human anymore. And 2, this place ain't supposed to be the Garden of Eden, genius. It's a zoo. We show the monsters in their natural state, just like we found them." He grabbed me by the chin and forced me to look him in the eyes. "See the guests that come in, right? They come in, they look around, and they say, 'Wow, this one's a leprechaun, and this one's a zombie, and that one's a fucking dragon, and that one over there, she's a ghost with her friggin' head cut off.' You get it? I'm just displaying them in their natural state, exactly as I found them." Vic looked profoundly disappointed in me, his favorite little caretaker's assistant. He also looked very tired. He stifled a yawn and said, "Well, I'm no saint. That much is true. But to my way of thinking, I'm also doing nothing wrong over here, kid. And to be very honest, this place is just another enterprise. It's my passion. But it's also a business. It was created to make money for me, Victor Bonicelli, and I fucking love money. Don't you understand who I am yet? You fucking ding-dong. I'm a bad guy. I do bad guy shit, and it makes me money. Believe me, whatever happens in this zoo, it's the least of my sins." I felt my heart sink into the pits of my stomach. I understood my boss was a villain, but it was still disheartening to hear him say it out loud. Despite his many serious flaws, a part of me really liked Victor Bonicelli. Every now and then, I'd see a brief flash of a man he should have become, if his circumstances had been different. I think that made it a lot worse. I murmured, "Ghost or not, she can think and she can feel. They all think and feel, Vic, and they suffer." Vic patted me roughly on the cheek and retorted, "Don't worry about none of that, kid. Worry about me instead. Because I'm trying to keep you alive right now. Trying my very best to not fucking kill you. But you're making me second guess my decision here, capiche? So let's be done with this, okay? End the discussion. Moral of the story is don't ever fuck with Victor's money. It's the number one commandment in the book of Vic. Don't even think about it. In a cracked, colorless whisper, I said, if I don't reveal the book of man's identity, he'll come after me, he'll kill me. Vic flapped a hand at me in a dismissive gesture. He asked, well, you know for sure? And maybe he won't bother. And if he does, well, sounds like a you problem. Gave you a gun, didn't I? Use it. And if that don't work, maybe Kaz will be getting a new partner. All I know for sure is you ain't revealing the guy's identity to fucking nobody, because if Catherine disappears, so do you. Vic patted me on the cheek again. The impact was a bit softer this time. He sighed dramatically and said, you had good intentions, kid. I understand your point of view. But doing the right thing, you know, it ain't always in your best interests. Sometimes you gotta say, nah, fuck those guys, and do what's best for you. Wish the whole world could join hands and sing, just like you, but that ain't gonna happen. You gotta stop following your heart. Start using your brain instead. I could see Kaz sitting against the edge of the pond in the background. His expression was blank and neutral. Looking at him, I had a sudden thought. How did Vic know so much about what happened tonight? All the surveillance footage had been deleted. There was no video, no audio, nothing. The only witness to our shenanigans was the security goon who got roughed up by Kaz, and I doubt he knew much about the situation with Catherine. So how did Vic know exactly what was going on? Who told him? And when? Vic snapped his fingers in my face. He barked, don't look over there, all right? He ain't gonna help you, believe me. You're all in deep shit right now. And don't be drinking no more of that tea with that skinwalker. Jeez Louise, your eyes ain't even looking in the same direction. That shit scrambles your brain absolutely off limits. From now on, Billy. He stabbed a finger into my chest and added, don't be smoking no grass around here neither. I know you kids are all smoking a reefer these days. Keep your doobies at home. He turned to the others and commanded, now get back to whatever you're supposed to be doing, all of you. I'll deal with this bullshit tomorrow. Going back to bed now. One of the burly security guards pushed his way to the front. It was the goon from earlier that night. His nose was a slanting, swollen mess. In a nasal tone, he added, hey, hold up a second. What about me, Victor? Look what the Russian guy did to my face. You gonna let me return the favor? Victor fixed him with a cold stare. He didn't respond for an uncomfortable length of time. He just stood there and glared at his wayward minion, breathing heavily. The silence piled up in layers around them, and finally he said, that ain't gonna happen. I understand your anger, Tony, but you're speaking out of turn. I don't owe you nothing like that. I'll deal with it myself in my own way. Tony, the security goon, was much displeased with his denial. He smacked his fist into his palm in a show of impotent rage and yelled, I'm your second cousin's godson, Victor. Don't that mean something around here? You're gonna let me settle up with this guy? Victor gave him a serene look and replied, you're my second cousin's godson, it's true. The only reason you got this job. But that don't make you family, see? Not in any sense of the word. Nah, don't speak, just listen, all right? This rough-looking bastard over there, he could have ended you tonight, kid. This guy was stacking bodies when you were still in diapers, but here's the good news. He didn't end you. That's a gift. A renewed lease on life, if you will. Take it humbly and learn from it. Vic pointed at him, his expression still calm and collected. He said, but most importantly, you need to learn how to shut the fuck up. All right, don't speak unless I tell you to speak. Just give me a quick, yes, sir, Mr. Bonicelli, do as you're told. See, right now, you ain't doing your job. You're supposed to be protecting this building and everything inside of it, and that didn't happen, did it? You ain't doing your fucking job, Tony. Now you think you can just start making demands over here? You got some real nerve, kid. I don't think I want you around anymore. Tony was finally starting to understand what was about to happen. His rage evaporated into a mist of watering eyes and quivering lips. He held up his hand and quavered, I'm sorry, Vic. I didn't mean to speak out of turn ever again. I'll do better, okay? Please, Victor, I'm your second cousin's godson. Vic muttered, you ain't nobody to me, and shot Tony in the mouth. The young hoodlum stumbled backwards, a gurgling scream bubbling through his shattered teeth. Vic shot him again in the leg, and he toppled to the floor. The boss casually strolled over, his free hand tucked into his bathrobe pocket. He said, I don't even like that cousin, you fucking dipshit. And he shot the man twice more, aiming for the back of his head. The gunfire was almost deafeningly loud in the enclosed space of that reception area. The rest of Vic's security goons barely even flinched. They had all seen it coming. Vic wordlessly pointed at the body, and his men sprang into action. As they dragged away the corpse, Vic looked over at us and barked, I can't frickin' believe you people. Kaz, Fallen Sky, Miss Dahlia. Well, Billy, you're a different story. You're still young. You used to have all those morals and beliefs, all that stupid shit. But the rest of you, I thought you were smart. Vic pulled his bathrobe shut, crossed his arms tightly over his chest. He groaned. I don't know what to say to you guys. You all disappointed me tonight, and look what happened. I almost lost my skinwalker and my poltergeist. And now I gotta make up some bullshit story for my cousin, too. Well, second cousin. And I don't like him much. Fucking guy's a humorless prick. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. I still gotta make up a story, and I'll be expected to hand the kid's parents a fat envelope at his funeral. Which will be paid at my expense, by the way. You know how much funerals cost these days? Holy shit. Ain't just an arm and a leg. They want a lung and a kidney. A bunch of fucking ghouls. These funeral home people, I swear. They belong in a zoo. The chorus of screams suddenly came echoing from across the dimly lit expanse of the lobby. There was a frantic burst of gunfire, followed by another wave of screaming, and then there was silence. Falling Sky pushed himself up into a sitting position. He grimaced in pain as he lifted a paw at the open door. Someone should close that, he panted. He's here. Vic squinted into the darkness. He growled, Who is it? Is that friggin' book guy? The hell's going on? Something came rolling out of the gloom. It wobbled to a halt in front of Vic's slippers. It was a severed head, freshly sliced from the shoulders of a security guard. An expression of agonized terror was frozen on his face. One eye glared sightlessly at his feet. The other was missing. It had been replaced with a chunk of quartz. Vic yelled something in Sicilian as he kicked the severed head across the room. He slammed the door shut and announced, All right, guess I ain't going back to bed just yet. Miss Dahlia looked stunned. In a small voice, she asked, How many men did he just kill? 9? 10? That's... She trailed off. Vic nodded and said, Yeah, it ain't good. He killed them all in about 8 seconds tops. They're not good at all. Maybe you geniuses shouldn't fuck with the undead. What do you think, huh? I tell you, sometimes I wish I could sell this place and concentrate on the dealership. Ain't no bullshit over there, just quality vehicles at an affordable price. I was freaking the fuck out. The walls were breathing, the ceiling was closing in, everything was wavering around like a heat mirage, and now I was about to get killed. Vic saw the look in my face and pointed his gun at me. Don't say it. Don't even fucking think about it. He kills you, I kill you, doesn't matter. It's all the same. But none of it has to happen, kid. You know why? Because Vic just got himself a plan. He ran into his office and came back with something that looked like a bazooka. He said, It's a net gun. Got it made special, just for times like this. We gotta nab this cocksucker while we got a chance. He's a ghost. Things go wrong, he just disappears. Nah, we gotta lure him in right now. I already knew where this was going. I said, I'm not gonna like this plan very much, am I? Who fucking cares what you like? Vic snapped back. He wants you, not us. With you gone, his identity's safe. So we're gonna stick you out there and use you as bait, okay? When he comes to get you, I hit him with the net gun. Net was treated with a coating of pure silver. When it lands on him, that's it. We got him, and he won't be a problem no more. A horrible idea came burbling to the surface of my mind. Slowly, I asked, Are you planning on displaying him? Oh, hell yeah, Vic boomed cheerfully. You better believe it. Real ghosts are rare and a poltergeist is a needle in a haystack. But this fucking guy, a serial-killing, demon-worshipping motherfucker like him, forget about it. Money in the bank. He wrapped his beefy arm around my shoulders and said, Picture it, Billy. The demonic serial killer and his victim, both of them right here, side by side. That dynamic will be worth a fortune, kid, I tell you. If we can pull this off, it'll make me forget all about your little transgressions here tonight. Not to mention all those guys who got friggin' killed, right? The boss is back in New York will be giving me hell about that on Monday, you better believe it. Vic shushed me with the barrel of his pistol and said, No, don't even try it. I ain't asking over here, okay? I'm telling. Stand there out in the lobby. Maybe 15 feet or so from the door. That's it. I'll do the rest. He looked back at the others and shook his finger at him. Everyone else, keep their opinions to themselves. This ain't a democracy. Vic unlocked the door and eased it open. He cupped his hand to his mouth and yelled into the darkness. Hey, Bookman! How about you and I make a deal, huh? I give you Billy. In return, you leave the rest of us alone. No one else knows your identity, just a kid. What do you say? Huh? You can take him and go. I don't give a shit. No hard feelings. Out of nowhere, I was abruptly seized by a fit of giggling. The tea washed over me in a thick, sludgy wave, and now the room was absolutely humming with transcendent energy. I suddenly understood I could be in love with Miss Dahlia, and it would be okay. Nothing matters but light and love. Vic gawked at me in disbelief. He sputtered, What are you laughing for? Get it together, you friggin' space cadet. Be ready to move when I tell you to move, because I only got one shot at this prick, so if you both wind up in the net together, that's not my problem. Go on, get out there. He shoved me into the lobby, and the uncontrollable giggling started to a halt. The bubble of euphoria abruptly popped, and I was filled with dread. The shadows danced and whirled in sinister patterns, and the floor rolled beneath my feet. I was certain I was about to die. I urgently whispered, Sheriff Blotto, I need your protection, like right now. Please, please, please don't let me get murdered. It was dead silent in the lobby. I could hear a clock on the wall, steadily whirring the seconds away. I was almost vibrating with adrenaline. Behind me, Vic quietly growled, What the hell is he waiting for, Christmas? Come on, you fucking blowjob. The kid's right there. Just come get him. Seconds stretched into minutes. My legs were trembling so badly I thought I was going to fall over. I was a brief moment away from saying, fuck this shit, and begging Vic to let me back in, but then I heard a familiar sound out in the thick of the gloom. It was the muffled scrape of a shoe against the floor. Steps were approaching. I shot a quick look back at Vic, blinking against the sweat that was suddenly pouring down my forehead. The net gun was propped up against his shoulder, and his finger was on the trigger. The footsteps were drawing closer, but I couldn't see anyone approaching. Weakly, I called out, Hey, is that you? Hey! Show yourself, you fucking weirdo! From somewhere down by my knees, a gruff voice answered. Watch who you're calling weirdo, young fella. I'll go save someone else's life. How did that sound? I looked down and saw Blotto's weathered face scowling up at me. I started babbling a frantic apology, but he waved it off and said, It's fine, don't worry about it. I've heard worse. Have you ever tried to sort out a domestic dispute between an ogre and his wife? This one time, the wife had her husband in a chokehold when I got there, so I took her down and chained her arms, and as soon as he caught his breath, the husband jumped up and started throwing haymakers at me with those ham-sized fists while I was struggling to get his arms behind his back. The wife snuck up behind me and kicked me in the groin. She kicked me so hard I was launching into the air like a rocket, smashed through the ceiling, landed in their attic. My poor little acorn swelled up to the size of tennis balls. Vic called out, Who are you talking to over there? And he came storming into the lobby like a thundercloud. He pointed at Sheriff Blotto and demanded, Who the hell is this? What are you, a gnome? What the fuck is there a gnome out here, Billy? Blotto gave my boss a look of weathered contempt. He said, My name is Sheriff Blotto. I'm an agent of law enforcement in the service of Mercus, King of the Sprites. Vic rumbled, You're a pig, ain't you? And why are you here, baby bacon? You get a warrant from the Sprite King? Huh? If not, go fuck yourself. You ain't welcome here. I was horrified. I gasped, Vic, you can't talk to him like that. Vic sneered. Sure I can. Why not? I got no respect for cops. The whole reason for this existence is to be a huge pain in my ass. Fuck them all. Blotto jabbed his finger in the air between them and retorted, If you weren't such a lowlife, you wouldn't have had to worry about the law. You're an infamous scoundrel, Victor Bonicelli. The spirit world will not be kind to you. Vic grinned at me and said, Yeah, you see that, Billy? Even the sprites know about Victor Bonicelli. Look, Flatfoot, I don't know why you're here, but I got the situation under control, so don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Blotto gave him a serene look and replied, Billy was about to be murdered. By the order of King Mercus, I can't allow that to happen. Billy is one of his royal subjects. Vic gaped at him for a second, his lips twitching as he tried to make sense of the information. He wheezed. Fucking what? What you talking about, Blippo? This fucking guy right here? Why the hell did that happen? Blotto gave him a cold stare. He said, King Mercus sees value in his existence. I'm sworn to protect his life. Vic suddenly looked a bit uneasy. He put on a greasy smile and boomed, Nah, hell, I wasn't gonna hurt him. I'm pretty steamed at the goofy little fuck right now, but I wasn't gonna hurt the guy. I was just trying to use him to lure a ghost into a trap. This ghost I'm talking about, now he's a real scoundrel, right? I was gonna, contain him, make sure he couldn't hurt nobody else. What are you gonna do, Johnny Lawman? You gonna kill him or something? The gnome replied crisply, No, I can't do that. He's already dead. My presence was all that was needed here tonight. The fiend is already gone. Vic looked deeply disappointed. With his nut gun dangling at his side in a dejected manner, he asked, So, is that it? Guy's gone forever? Blotto snorted. He's a ghost. He can disappear and come back at will. When he does, if it's necessary, of course, I'll prevent him from taking Billy's life. That's about all I can do. Spirits can't be punished by the laws of the living. The dead rule their own house. Blotto turned to me with a solemn expression. He said, Take care, Billy. Continue to be good in heart and good in deeds. Never be afraid to do what's right. He shot a disgruntled glance at Vic before turning his back on him. He said, Victor Bonicelli, it was not a pleasure to meet you. Change your ways, sir, and make amends to those you've wronged. Vic snarled, Get fucked, and shot him the finger as he walked off into the darkness. Before he disappeared, Blotto called out, There's a mess of severed heads and body parts out here. Your men, I presume? Is this what you refer to as having the situation under control? What a shameful display. You're not a leader, Victor. You're a dictator. Vic yelled some colorful insults back at him, but Blotto was already gone. Vic whirled around and glared at me with bloodshot eyes. He snapped, Get back out there, Billy, we ain't done yet. Some of those guys, they were connected to the family, and that's gonna be at least 3 more funerals I gotta cover. Coffin, burial costs, flowers, catering for the reception after it, more envelopes, all that shit. You cost me a fortune tonight, I'm getting it back one way or another. Quietly, I said, No, I'm done here. I don't belong, I can't keep doing this shit, I'm sorry, man. I'm fucking done. I'll stay until the end of my shift and I'm gone. My life's completely fucked. It's all because of this zoo. I want my old life back. I want things to be normal again. Vic grunted. Nope. No can do, kiddo. You know too much you know about me. That's bad enough. You also know about the monsters, and that's even worse. You know too fucking much in general. Nah, that can't happen. We're sticking to the original plan, kid, and you better pray that ghost comes back to finish the job, because I need him. My resolve was already crumbling. I could see Kaz lurking in the doorway from the corner of my eye, silently watching. Judging me, no doubt. In a wavering voice, I squeaked, You can't hurt me, Vic. I have the protection of the Sprite King. There's nothing stopping me. I trailed off as a huge, enormous realization surfaced in my mind. I was virtually death-proof. Nothing could kill me. My guardian gnome would put a stop to it by any means. That chemical euphoria surged in my veins, and I cackled, I'm invulnerable now, asshole! Watch this! I sprinted directly at the wall, much to my dismay. I slammed into the concrete and hurt myself quite terribly. My face hit the wall with a horrible smack, and I saw a flash of light behind my eyes. I tumbled to the floor, my nose spewing a violent gush of blood, and I clapped my hands over my face. Vic looked down at me, his expression somewhat between startled and amused. He poked me with the net gun and chuckled. "He never said you couldn't get hurt, you fucking fryhead. Especially if you're the one doing the hurting. What your tiny gnome cop did say is you couldn't get killed. The big difference." Vic hauled me to my feet. He pulled a wad of tissues from his robe and stuffed them into my hands. "Clean yourself up. I got allergies, so I always carry a bunch of tissues around. Hey, they ain't been used, all right? They're all mashed up in my pocket, that's all. It's not like I was jerking into him or something. What do you take me for? Come on, wipe your face." Vic leaned closer and squinted at me in the dim light. He murmured, "All right, let's see. Nah, your nose ain't broken. I told you, them drugs mess up your brain. Just look at a skinwalker. That guy's a burnout. Spend most of his time staring at a lava lamp, blowing smoke rings. You don't want to end up like that." The gush of blood from my nose was violent, but it was brief. I shoved the bloody wad of tissues into a pouch in my utility belt and said, "I don't want to end up like that, because I'm leaving." I started to walk away, and Vic called after me. "The gnome didn't say nothing about other people, did he?" I froze in my tracks, and then stomped over to face him. My hands were clenched in the fists. I demanded, "What do you mean by that?" Vic gave me an exaggerated shrug. "What do you think I mean? I'm just saying, he never mentioned nothing about protecting anyone but you, so I guess I could turn my attention to someone else, right? Someone important to you." I felt the blood drain from my face. I sputtered, You do that, Vic, and I'll... Vic roared, "You'll do what, tough guy? Huh? Would you go to the public about the zoo? You have any idea what would happen to the cryptids if you blew the whistle? No, neither do I, but I bet you it wouldn't be good. What else you got, huh? You're gonna rat me for being a gangster, huh? You think the cops already know about that? Of course they do. They just gotta be able to prove it in a court of law, and they can't do that. They tried, believe me." I snarled, I'd kill you. If that's what I had to do, I'd find a way." Vic sneered. "Oh, speaking of laws, you're a royal subject, so you gotta follow the rules of your kingdom. I know the laws of the Fae almost as good as our own, kid. I know for a fact you ain't allowed to commit no murder. Killing for revenge is also strictly forbidden. If you manage to take me out somehow, well, you'd find yourself sitting for a jury of your peers. Only thing is, those so-called peers would all be gnomes and fairies and shit like that. The Fae folk don't like us very much. Most of them think we're all pieces of shit. They'd pronounce you guilty and you'd be dangling by the neck before sunrise." That little tidbit shut me up right smartly. I hadn't given much thought about what it meant to be a royal subject, of course. It would be my civic duty to uphold and obey their laws. Vic saw the blood drain from my face, and he gave me an unpleasant smile. He said, "There's a place I know, a farm out in the middle of nowhere, 200 acres, cornfields, woods. I do whatever I want to out there. No one will hear or see a thing. Anything you could imagine. You'd never know what happened to him, and it would eat you alive." A sludgy wave of despair rolled over my soul. As predicted, I fucked it all up. I didn't save Catherine. Hell, I didn't even save myself. Instead, my scatterbrained bullshit got a bunch of people killed. Didn't matter if they're good people or bad people. Either way, their blood was on my hands. My friends were all in hot water for helping me out, and now my parents were in danger too. On top of all of that, a random necromancer from Damascus wanted me dead, and the spirit of a perverted serial killer also wanted to kill me. The fact that they would be unable to accomplish this goal was somewhat comforting, but still, no one likes it when other people want them to die. It's a huge bummer. Despite my best efforts, I somehow kept making things worse at every turn. There was simply no way out from beneath Victor Bonicelli's looming thumb. I was stuck. Vic patted me on the shoulder. He said, "I ain't mad at you, kid. I mean, I'm mad, sure. But not, like, mad, I'm a bad guy. I don't mean I'm stupid. I can see you trying to do the right thing. Just forget about all that crap, okay? Forget about right and wrong. Come in, do your shift, make your money. Enjoy your life. That's all you gotta do. Let's catch this friggin' ghost or we'll forget any of this ever happened, huh? Our conversation was interrupted by a scream from inside the reception area. Kaz pulled out a squirt gun and yelled over his shoulder, "Victor, come quickly!" Vic and I both hustled into the room. I felt his malignant presence before I saw it. He was the Bookman. He had Miss Delilah clutched in front of him, and he was holding his knife against her throat. The skinwalker was hunched against the side of the pool, baring his fangs in a wide snarl. He was too injured to do anything else. The Bookman showed his rotting teeth in a leering grin. He said, "I shan't be withered away behind the walls of your prison, Mr. Bonicelli. At the end of days, I will rule the chaos at my master's side. Drop the infernal contraption in your hands, or the nymph will lose her head." I screamed, "Let her go!" and tried to rush him. Kaz grabbed me and dragged me back. He whispered into my ear, "Think before you act. You need a plan." The Bookman smirked at me and said, "Your life is safe from all but the immortals. This is true. But as Mr. Bonicelli shrewdly pointed out, this protection does not extend to someone you love. There is only one thing you can do to save her, Billy. You must forever silence your own tongue. Take your own life, and I will allow her to live. You can't speak my name faster than I can cut her throat." Vic shouted, "Yeah, go fuck yourself, douchebag! We don't negotiate with no terrorists!" Miss Dahlia was frozen with fear. I could see a thin trickle of red oozing from the spot where the knife had pressed into her neck. She was strong, but the Bookman was much stronger. She whimpered, "Don't do it, Billy. My life isn't worth more than yours." Vic hollered, "What? You better believe your life is worth more than this idiot. Hell, you cost me almost $1 million, lady." The Bookman's eyes blazed in their cavernous sockets. He said, "The Fae do not have a place in the spirit world. You will never see her again." Vic was beside himself with rage. He dropped the net gun and screamed, "Let her go, dickhead! I'll fight you right now, man to man! Fucking come get some, pussy!" I felt like I was going to throw up. A plan. I needed my dumb fucking brain to spit up a plan. What? What could I do? What? I looked over at where Falling Sky was crouched against Miss Delilah's pool, and it suddenly clicked. I turned to Vic and mumbled, "I'll be right back." I walked over to stand next to Falling Sky and announced, "Well, this is it. You won, Mr. Bookman. I'll see you on the other side." Falling Sky gave me a questioning look. I patted his furry head and told him, "Don't worry, man. I'm going to visit your ancestors real quick." I shot a meaningful glance at Miss Delilah, and then flipped over the side and fell into the pool. My heavy boots and Kevlar suit dragged me to the bottom. I thought, "Oh, here goes nothing." And I let the hazy water rush into my lungs. It was a horrible feeling. I thrashed around at the bottom for a while, and I felt myself fading away, and then I was gone. I was in the spirit world. As usual, I was greeted by a dense, lifeless fog in every direction. This was the veil of my own ignorance, obscuring the truth and clouding my sight. In the spirit world, you don't perceive your surroundings with your eyes, you see them through your mind, so I imagined a time long before my own progenitors ever set foot in the New World. There was no roads, no cities, no pizza parlors or movie theaters. The entire continent was an unspoiled landscape of arid plains and deep forests, tall mountains, and flowing rivers. This was the world that belonged to the ancestors of Falling Sky. I hollered into the burning sun, "Ancestors of Falling Sky, can you hear me?" The whispering wind broke my ear. The voice sounded suspiciously like a bunch of Navajo warriors who were barely able to contain their laughter. It said, "Billy Whitebread, the Demon Slayer! You speared the succubus and you lived to tell the tale!" A small crowd of Falling Sky's ancestors gathered around me, all of them grinning from ear to ear. One of them explained, "Here he is, boys, the man, the myth, the legend." They all started laughing and elbowing each other. I waved my hands frantically to shush them and said, Look, I don't have much time, okay? I'm dead right now. Hopefully that changes in a minute or two, but I need a favor from you guys." I was approached by the tall, somber-looking warrior I had spoken to last time. He gripped my hand and said, "Anything for the Demon Slayer. Teach us your ways, O great mighty hunter. Teach us how to pull some of that demon booty." That got them all cracking up again. Someone called out from the back of the crowd, "That must have been crazy, right? Give us the details." I shushed them again, and I spoke urgently about a wolf who disguised himself as a shepherd. I explained what I would do if I was allowed to return to the living. Their rowdy good cheers soured as I spoke to them, and it morphed into smoldering rage. The tall warrior gave me a grave nod and said, "It would be our pleasure. We'll be waiting." I gave him my sincerest thanks, and I was suddenly coughing up a lungful of water. I was lying on the floor in our reception area, and Miss Dahlia was looking down at me with tears in her eyes. She gasped, "I did it, he's breathing!" Vic's broad, sweaty face loomed into view. He rasped, "You crazy son of a bitch. I was pretty smart, you know that. That was really friggin' clever." I drew in a painful lung of air, and I was racked by another coughing fit. When it was over, I croaked, "Where is he?" Vic motioned to the ceiling with a sad look in his eyes. "He's gone. Back to the spirit world, I guess. Burns my ass I didn't get him for the zoo, but it ain't over yet. If you ain't dead, I'm sure I'll be back. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? We'll put you in a big cage made with silver, you know? I rig up a bunch of those net guns, motion sensors. When he comes in to get you, boom, he's mine, no worry. I'll put a cot in there so you can sleep, chemical toilet, yeah, curtain, comfy chair, maybe a TV. They don't sound terrible, but it won't be so bad. Do you like those video games? Yeah, you young people, they love the video games, am I right? I'll get you one of those game consoles I see in the commercials. Yeah, how does that sound?" I dragged in another tortured breath, and I choked. "The bookman is William Finley Crenshaw. He murders women and children. He murdered Catherine." A demented howl of rage emanated from the thin air around us, and it was silent again. Vic's eyes widened in shock. He dropped to his knees and grabbed me by the arms. He sputtered, "You little piece of shit! What'd you do that for? After everything I told you in the lobby, why?" "Because Catherine doesn't deserve any more pain," I wheezed. I started coughing again. Victor jumped up and roared, "Ah, fucking hell! Poltergeist!" He scrambled out the door and broke into a heavy-set jog. He was heading for the employee entrance to the service tunnels. After he was gone, everyone stared at me with a kind of morbid fascination. I pulled myself to my feet by the edge of the pool, and I demanded, "What? What are you people looking at?" Kaz murmured, "That was very brave, Billy Whitebread, but your bravery will cost you dearly." I chuckled a bit to myself, still clinging to the retaining wall of the pool. Without looking at him, I asked, "Is it you, Kaz? Are you the snitch? Tell me the truth, man." Kaz silently weighed his answer. Quietly, he said, "Sometimes things are not as they first appear. Remember that." I weakly replied, "Oh, well, I really hope it's not you, Kaz, because I'll tell you something, man. I don't know if I believe that." There was another uncomfortable silence. Kaz was looking at me with that stoic non-expression, unreadable and unknowable. The tension was broken by the sound of Vic's slippers clapping rapidly across the marble floor. Falling Sky backed away into a corner, his fur standing on end. He said, "The time of reckoning has come, Billy Whitebread. Be brave. Pray for the best." Vic burst into the room and hollered, "You dirty cocksucker! Motherfucker, she's gone, you little prick! I can't find her! She got released into the spirit world and now she's gone!" I closed my eyes and breathed. She's free. Rest in peace, little angel. Vic, almost purple with rage, he hauled out his pistol and started aiming it at me, and then he let loose a scream of rage and threw it instead. And the gun sailed over my head and clattered across the floor. He roared, "I'll kill your mom and dad, I'll kill your aunts and uncles, I'll kill your friggin' kindergarten teacher, you sack of dog shit. Oh, fuck you!" Calmly, I replied, "I don't think you will, Vic." Vic charged across the room to loom over me, breathing in huffs and snorts like a bull. He barked, "Oh, is that so? Why the fuck not, tough guy, huh? Who's gonna stop me?" I answered gently, "Nolan, just you, because you know it was wrong. I mean, you're a bad guy, but you're still a human being. You have a heart in there somewhere. You have a conscience. She's free now, Vic. Let her go. Let her be free. Vic stared down at me, his eye twitching. Slowly, the crimson flush of red drained from his face, and his breathing returned to normal. He murmured, "You ballsy little bastard. I can't fucking believe you. I can't. Nah, fuck it. Okay. Nah. Sure. I guess I made my investment back over the years. I can't deny it. Made it back in spades, and that's the only thing that's gonna save you here, you get it? Doing what's right, that don't mean shit to me, Billy. It's dollars and cents first, then pride, and that's it. Everything else is bullshit." His mouth silently moved as he tried to work out what he wanted to say next, but Vic wasn't the kind of guy who could easily convey his emotions with words. Finally, he threw up his hands and exclaimed, "Fuck me, there's something else. I can't fucking believe you, kid. You actually fucking died for Miss Dolly over there. What am I supposed to say to that, huh? I mean, shit, what am I? Hey, what the fuck happened to you here?" I shifted uncomfortably under his searching eyes. I shrugged and said, "Lost it on the other side. It's dangerous over there." Vic made a disgusted noise in his throat. "You know what? Whatever. I don't even care what happened. Just leave, okay? Go home for the rest of the week. I don't want to see your stupid face again until next Monday." He turned to the others and said, "The rest of you guys, go back to wherever you're supposed to be. Fucking stay there. This ain't over, by the way. I don't know how I'm gonna handle this bullshit just yet. This ain't over. Miss Dahlia, get your lion ass back into the water. Kaz, take the skinwalker to his habitat. Go back to the front entrance when you're done, and I'm gonna call in some people, clean up this mess in the lobby. And you're gonna help them pick up the pieces." Vic looked back at me and growled, "Yeah, what you standing there for, idiot? Go get changed, get the fuck out." As I was walking to the door, Miss Dahlia suddenly came running after me. She gave me a brief, tight little hug and whispered into my mutilated ear, "You're a hero, Billy. Go home and get some rest. You deserve it." Vic shouted, "That's enough of all that mushy stuff. All right, I told you, I don't approve. Get out of my sight, Billy." I walked across the lobby with the sensation of Miss Dahlia's sweet breath still tingling in my brain. I had already fallen deeply and desperately in love with her. I'd never been in love before. Felt amazing. Felt like fizzy bubbles in the pit of my stomach. The glow in my chest couldn't erase the trauma from the unspeakable horrors I'd faced that night, but I'm not gonna lie. I came pretty damn close. Love is light. Drives the shadows back to the corners of your soul. And love is life. Love is everything. I was still too fucked up to drive, so I left my car in the parking lot and started walking. Vic remotely buzzed the gate open from his office. He flicked on the intercom and his voice crackled. "I'm gonna tow your piece of shit car to the dealership. You can come get it after work on Monday. Now hit the road." The walk home was long and strange. I traversed a twisting landscape of shimmering street lights and dangling stars. By the time I got there, I was starting to come down from the tea. It was an immense relief to be almost sober again. I was incredibly tired, and I felt worn out right down to my skeleton. I was ready to sleep for 1,000 years. To my surprise, I found Len waiting for me outside my apartment building. I hadn't seen or spoken to him in weeks. I tentatively said, "Hey man, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while, not since then." I let the rest of it hang in the air between us. He pitched his cigarette into the street and rumbled, "Long time no see. You really fucked me over that day, Billy. Me, I'm not the kind of guy who lets that sort of shit slide. Neither's Victor." I grimaced and said, "Yeah, I get that. I'm sorry about what happened, man, like, for real, but I had to see Kaz, you know? I had to make sure he was gonna be okay. Fucking guy was playing Russian roulette, for crying out loud." Len gave me a sour smile. He let out a deep breath and said, "Yeah, I get it. You're a decent kid and you ain't no little bitch. Never would have thought and be looking at you. But know what they say about books and their covers." He put a heavy hand on my shoulder and cleared his throat. "Anyway, I'm not here to make small talk. I just had a conversation with your guardian, the little gnome with the badge. I explained the whole situation to him in further detail. Long story short, we worked something out." I gave him a wary look and asked, "What do you mean? What did you..." Len suddenly yanked me closer, and he drove his knee square into my balls. The impact almost lifted me off the sidewalk. The pain was a jolt of electricity to every fiber of my being. I dropped like a stone. Len said, "That was for the shit you pulled tonight at the zoo. Dumb fucking move, kid. Real dumb." Len reached down and delivered a resounding slap across the top of my head. Stars exploded behind my eyes. "And that's for screwing me over. You don't fuck with Len and expect to get away with it. You're lucky I can't kill you, dipshit, because I would. Strangle you with my bare hands. Don't you ever fuck with me again." Len walked away without uttering another word, leaving me to writhe around in agony on the sidewalk. When I could finally stand again, I lurched into the building and hauled myself up the stairs to my apartment. I pried a bag of frozen peas out of the iceberg in my freezer. I rested it against my crotch in bed. All the good feelings were gone. I plunked a pillow over my face to help block out the rising sun, and I cried myself to sleep. So, what became of the bookman, you ask? Well, I'm pretty sure I witnessed his fate in my dreams. The ancestors were waiting for him, just as they had promised. They surrounded him in a circle as he cowered, begging for mercy. They pulled out their daggers one by one. The ghostly warriors took turns carving out a piece of flesh, an eye, his nose, a couple of fingers, his cock. After everyone had their turn, the shrieking, butchered mess of a man became whole once more, because no one can die in the spirit world. When he was fully healed, they did it again. And again. I also saw Catherine in my dreams. She was running through a sunlit meadow with childish delight, and her head was still on top of her neck, where it belonged. She was accompanied by a whirling entourage of songbirds and butterflies. She waved to me, and then she was gone, skipping through the long grass into the horizon. She wasn't in pain anymore. She was at peace. I had fallen asleep crying in wretched misery, but I woke up with tears of joy streaming down my face. Was it all worth it? Yeah. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I may have been a hero that night, but a hero's story doesn't always have a dignified ending. Reality is sloppy and painful. Sometimes heroes fuck up and get kneed in the balls. All you can do is drag yourself off the sidewalk, put a bag of frozen veggies on your swollen nuts, and cry yourself to sleep. Because a hero isn't someone who always wins, dear reader. A hero is someone who tries to do what's right, no matter the cost. And if you're lucky, the universe will allow you to wake up to a better tomorrow. If you enjoyed hearing The Bookman or any other tales from Bonesaw Vic's Cryptozoological Garden, please check out the link in the description down below to T.W. Grimm's Patreon. Supporting him on Patreon allows him to be able to write more parts like this as little side stories for Bonesaw Vic, and also allows him to write Bonesaw Vic. So thank you all so much for listening, and sweet dreams. Thank you guys so much for being supporters. That goes for everybody who was down in the description, as well as AcidSystem, BallarmsTheRat, Blake Rattler, Brandon Mendoza, Brenna, BrimstonePandemonium, Caltuna, ChainSmoker Dealer, ChicagoHitman, CoryxKenshin, Cronut508, CrusaderChocobo, CursepoxPrimarch, Dakota Best, Daniel Poulsen, Dante Kinkade, Diana Kraus, Ellie Hutmire, Enchanted Buns, Estebean, Gemma Halsey, Hades Nephew, Timbo Jerry, Hour Minute Seconds Time, Jay Keens, Jed is Pet, Jordan Humble, King Crab, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Old Penguin, Peaceful Buddha, Psychomel, Red Shadowcat, Remember the Sun, Rinku Star, Salty Surprise, Samara Line, Seclude, Simba's Bloody Mojo, Sky Harbor, Smiley the Psychotic, Sullyman, Tolly Sue, the Chavez Brothers. Thank you so much. And honestly, thank you to everybody, even those guys that are in there for just $1. It really helps me out. Once again, that's patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. Or if you guys like to just listen, honestly, that helps me out a lot too. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And sweet dreams.